Okay, recording now. Thank you, JJ. Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's true. Although the directions on GitHub Pages are pretty clear. If you ever forget it, you can usually just go back to the site, read through it, and walk through it again. And especially now that they've made the process much simpler, you're not going to hit too much trouble putting stuff up on GitHub Pages anymore. But let's walk through it. Let's walk through the way that it used to be done, and then we'll talk about why it's easier to do now and you don't have to worry as much. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new project. I'm gonna actually, you know what, I'm gonna do this on GitHub. Okay, so here's GitHub. I'm gonna create a new repository. And I'm gonna call it stopwatch example. I'm gonna copy the code from the stopwatch homework into here and put that up on GitHub Pages. I need to initialize this with a README because if I don't do that, or if I don't have any files in this repository, I can't clone it. Just a feature of Git, you cannot clone an empty repository. But if it has at least one thing in it, you can clone it. So I'm going to create this new repo, README. Great. So here's my empty example repo.
Sorry, Matt. Should we be doing this with you, or should we just be watching you do it?
You should be doing this with me.
Okay.
Does it matter that I used an underscore instead of a dash?
No, it does not. Things like what you call this repo are not important. Just create a new repo on GitHub. And once you have it, clone it down. And don't clone it into another repo. Make sure that when you create it, that you give it a README file.
Forgot, how do I open up a separate tab there in the terminal?
Oh, just click the plus. I think you can also do Command T. That'll also work. Yeah. Okay, so once you've created the repo on GitHub, give that a thumbs up. Next thing we're going to do is clone it. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to say git clone. Okay.
Where are you cloning that within?
I just have a random directory that I use on my computer for doing demos. Doesn't matter. As long as it's not a repo, you can put it anywhere.
So I could just do it on the desktop and it would be fine?
Yep. Totally. All right. All right. So you can see that this only contains the README at the moment. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to copy in the solution from the stopwatch app. So I have that available on my machine. Let's see. Materials, homework, JS, DOM, homework, stopwatch. Okay, so I'm copying it from this location, but you can copy it from anywhere you like. You can copy in your code from the stopwatch homework. It doesn't have to be the solution, it can be anything. I'm just using this as an example of a website that I'm going to be deploying. But it can be any website files. I'm choosing the stopwatch HTML stuff, and I'm going to copy it into this new cloned repo. So I'm just copying in all of those website files. Yeah. So you can get those files from anywhere. Doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be stopwatch.
Yeah, I was about to ask. I don't remember what day the stopwatch was.
Yep, doesn't matter. Not important. Grab any HTML, CSS, JavaScript stuff, any site, put it in. We're just using it as an example of deploying. Okay. As soon as you've copied over those files into the new cloned repo, go ahead and give that a thumbs up. Okay. Once you've copied over the files, the next thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that the HTML file that you're using for your site exists in the root of the repo. Here it does, but it also needs to be called index.html in order for GitHub Pages to know where to find it. So I'm going to rename indexsolution.html to just index.html. If it's already called index.html, you don't have anything to do. Wrong window. Rachel, are you copying them from the right place? What command are you using?
So I saw you use CP, so I was just using CP, and then I went back to the desktop and then went into the WDI folder, week 3, day 4, homework, example solution.
The syntax for CP is CP path to source files, new destination. So in the case before, I gave CP and then the path to where my files lived. And then I said dot, copy them to my present location. Both of these things need to be here in order for CP to work.
Oh,
And I hope it's clear that those are not literally the paths that you need to write, but just double checking. Yeah. Yeah. You want to copy some stuff. Where are you going to copy it? I want to copy it right here. To right here.
Yeah, if you don't mind, would you walk me through it actually, Matt? Might help others too.
Walk through what?
Copying the files into there, because I just tried it and I didn't get it to work.
So the command that I did is this one. You can see how I have CP, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then this is a path to where all of the files lived. They're all in a directory. And so I use the star to copy everything that's in that directory. And then I use the dot to say, copy it to my present location.
Let me try that.
This isn't really part of the GitHub Pages tutorial. So if you just copy it by hand, that's okay too.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right now, but I can't figure it out.
I don't know.
I feel like I'm doing it completely wrong. You mind if I showed you real quick?
Sure. Go ahead.
Great.
I'll come off.
I might be copying it completely wrong though, which is where it could be the root of the issue.
Well, why don't you share your screen, Richie?
Yep. It's waiting on yours. I was trying to just do it like this, like take it and then copy example solutions. So like copy the whole folder. And then I was trying to do like CP like that. But that wasn't working.
Well, you need to give a destination, Richie.
Yeah, well, I'm inside that folder, so I did what you said, which was that.
No, not star dot, just dot.
Just straight dot?
Yeah, I mean, you want to start, like if you do this as it is, what it's going to do is it's going to copy the whole directory. You don't want that. So do example solution /star, which will copy, just press up to go to the previous entry. Go example solution /star, which will grab all the files inside example solution.
/?
Yes, so example solution, no, attached to, it's part of the path, /star, and then a space and then dot. That'll copy everything from within example solution into your present directory. All right, do an ls.
Cool, there they go.
Cool.
All right, thanks.
Adam asks, how long does it take for an update to the repo to push through? It varies. It kind of depends on how busy GitHub is, but it's usually on the order of minutes. That said, there are always weird quirks that can happen, so you never know. Okay, I'm going to share again. Cool. So once you've copied the website files and you've made sure that you have a file called index.html in the root, you're ready to begin. Now I'm just going to check out, I'm going to open index.html just to confirm that it's working. So that if it's not working when I deploy it, I'll know that I messed something up. But that looks fine. Okay, cool. So I know that index.html works. I know that everything as it is inside this directory works just fine. All right, so next I'm going to actually make it a repo. Or sorry, I don't need to do that, rather. It's a cloned. I'm going to commit the stuff to the repo. If I do git status, you see I've got 3 new files that aren't added. So I'm just going to git add HTML success.js. Yes, I could do git add dot. I'm fussy. Anyway, so now that's all added, and I'll make a commit. Cool. So now I've made a commit. This is the point at which you actually begin the tutorial, because what we're dealing with right now is we're dealing with a repository with code in it where there's an index.html file in the root. Okay. First thing I want to do is just make sure that this is all pushed up to GitHub. So I'm going to do git push origin master. And I should see that on GitHub once I pushed it. Great, it's there. Okay. So again, we're walking through now is the old way, the way that you used to need to do this. But there are some reasons why it's not a bad pattern to get familiar with. But I'll show you the new way in case you get yourself into a hole. So the old way of doing this is that you would create a new branch. Called GH Pages. Folks, see, is this big enough? Maybe that's better.
Yeah, it's more better now.
Okay, so I'm going to create a GH Pages branch. I'm currently on master, so GH Pages and master are going to both point to the same commit. They're exactly the same version of the code. That's fine. And then I'm going to push this GH Pages branch up to GitHub. If I go over to my GitHub page, I should see that there are two branches. And in fact, you can see that they are master and GH Pages. Okay. Once you've done that, you're done. Yes, really, you're done. That's it. You're actually done. If you go over to the settings page for the repo and scroll down, you see how there's a piece where it says GitHub Pages? And it says your site is published. So JJ, to create and check out the branch, it was git checkout -b. And then we pushed it to origin. Having done just that, our page is live. And if I follow that link, there it is. It's hosted, and I'm done.
Matt, I missed that. Where do you go to get the link?
It's if you go to the settings page for your repo, see the settings tab? Over here. If you go to the settings page or just /settings, and you scroll down to where it says GitHub Pages, it should be green if everything went well.
Yep, thank you.
Cool. And that's it. Your stuff is hosted.
So Matt, if let's say we're working on a repo that we've already created, and we want to publish that up to the website.
Yep.
We don't have to create a new repo for the publishing for the deployment, right?
That's correct. So that was just to give us a repo that we could push up.
Okay.
If you have a repo already, you start from the step. Which step was it? Once you start after pushing master, right? You've got a repo already. You've pushed master up to GitHub. That is the point at which this tutorial actually becomes about GH Pages. So all you need to do is create and push a GH Pages branch, and that's it. And index.html needs to be in the root. If it's not in the root, it doesn't quite work exactly right. The URL changes. And if you don't have index.html at all, then it gets messed up. But it needs to be in the root of the repo. If it says the site is not found, but it says that everything is green, Zarella, you probably forgot origin, because GH Pages is the branch. So if you forgot origin, it's going to interpret that as being the repository that you're trying to push to instead of the branch of the repository that you want to push to. It should be git push origin GH Pages. Does that fix it?
Just a second. So just do git push origin and then the other stuff, right?
It's just like if you were pushing to master, except that you're pushing to a branch with a different name.
Oh, I see. Okay, let's see if that works. Oh yeah, I guess that worked. Cool, thank you.
No problem.
Mine worked except for everything. It shows up green with a link to my URL, but when I click on the URL, I get a 404 error.
Okay. It may still be processing. It might take a minute for it to go live. On the other hand, are you sure that you have index.html in the root of the repo? If you don't have a file called
It's in there, but it's actually called index solution HTML.
And that is why it's not working.
Oh, really? That doesn't even count like towards it?
Nope, doesn't count. That's why I renamed it. You must rename it. But it's okay, because I'm going to show you how to make further changes once you've pushed something to GH Pages. And I'm going to do that as soon as everybody is finished pushing to GH Pages.
I made a mess. I went ahead and cloned it. I was working ahead, I guess. And then right after it, you were like, well, you can't clone it from here. But I already had. So then I did it.
Sorry.
I made a repo. And then cloned the repo to my local computer.
Yeah, that's fine. No, there's no problem with that. That's exactly what I did. I created a repo in GitHub and I cloned it down. But it's still not working. What happened?
Well, I've made a mess. I put files inside of files, directories inside of directories.
Okay. Can you show me what you mean? I'll come off screen share.
Sure.
So you cloned it into the big repo for the class.
Well, I'm not quite sure what we're supposed to do then. I made the repository here and then went to the stopwatch homework.
Computer, Dana, that's correct, but you shouldn't clone it inside another repo. That's one of the things that you should never do. You should never clone a repo into another repo or create.
Right, because it makes the big mess. Yeah.
Right. So let's go ahead and delete that. I'm going to take control of your screen. Okay, so you were in stopwatch app. Okay.
I'm just going to go remove the whole thing.
No, it's okay. You don't need to remove the whole thing. We're going to move it rather than remove it.
Go up one. F? What's the F for?
Force.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. Perfect. Perfect.
Okay, so that's some other stuff. Cool. We don't care about that for now.
Yeah.
I had something weird happen, but it's working. Weird though.
Your desktop is a repo, Dana.
Yeah.
Let me fix that.
That'd be awesome. That's
It's not here. Is your root or oh, okay. No, it's further up. Still further up.
this is a pre-work then.
Is
This is what started the whole thing in the beginning.
why is it still saying that you're inside a repo? Okay, that's really weird. Because you're not inside a repo anymore, and it shouldn't be saying that you are. And why does it not say it over here? Okay, weird. Seems to have fixed it.
Awesome.
Okay. Okay, here we are inside the stopwatch app. However,
Perfect.
it's no longer a repo, so we need to make it a repo again. So
And
let's, okay. So what I'm doing is I'm recloning your app.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to put the files in the new clone. Richie, it depends on what branch you pushed the changes to.
I pushed them to both just to like try and make sure it worked. And like I said, it still shows up like that, but now the page will load when I click on the link. So I was like, whatever.
Yeah, I don't think that that's what happened. I think something else happened.
No idea.
What was the slash asterisk mean?
It means all the files, everything. Star is wildcard. It means everything
Okay.
inside stopwatch app files.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Awesome.
Okay. So now if you cd into stopwatch app, you've just cloned it. It's a repo. I don't know why that thing is now not showing up when you are in a repo, but okay, whatever. So there's all your files. If you run git status.
Yep. Yeah.
That's
Boom.
fine. So now you can
Perfect.
add and commit those things
Exactly.
and as normal.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. So can you stop screen sharing for a sec? Okay. All right, Richie, let's take a quick look at your issue as well. Can you screen share, please?
Sure. Yeah, I just saw it though. Apparently it just went to the GH pages. So I'm looking at it like right now. Let me drag this over. So there it is. It did get changed, but I was looking at the wrong branch, I guess.
So you updated GH pages directly.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't do the master, and I was looking at the master, and the master still.
Okay, that's actually bad. That was one of the things that I was about to warn against. You go into your branches and delete that branch on GitHub. Just go to branches and go over to the trash can on the right. And
Which
delete
one?
the GH pages branch. Yeah.
Well, there's two of them.
They're the same. Just delete either.
Okay.
Okay. Go back to your own repo.
Mm.
So go to local. Go to the command line.
What do you want me to do in the terminal?
Yeah, I want you to go to the terminal.
Where?
I want you to check out master. And I want you to delete the GH pages branch.
I don't remember the command for that.
Okay. Git branch space dash capital D space GH dash pages. Okay. Now you're in master and it doesn't include the name change. Do an LS. Okay. So I want you to do the following. I want you to write git space MV space V as in victory.
Oh, okay.
Index dash solution, you can just kind of tab complete that to index.html.
I'd physically write two.
Physically write, no, just physically write index.html. It's just like a move command, only it starts with git. Okay, git status. Okay, make a commit. Okay. All right. Now create a new branch called GH pages.
And I don't remember how I created that branch originally.
Git checkout dash B. No, and then the name of the branch, which is git GH pages, GH dash pages.
Like so?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now push that up to origin. Git push origin GH
GH pages?
Yes. Okay. And now if you go to GitHub, you should see that GitHub Pages has the right version. You should also see that master and GitHub Pages are the same for now. Refresh. Oh, I'm sorry. Go to, I made a mistake. Go back to your terminal.
Ah, crap.
Git checkout master. Git push origin master. Okay. Now refresh github.com.
Boom. There it is.
Okay.
Cool.
So there are two branches, master and GH pages. They should both have the same content. So if you click GH pages instead, you see this also index.html. Okay. Because we're assuming right now that GH pages and master are identical. What I was about to show is what happens if they get out of sync, specifically if master gets ahead of GH pages.
Basically what I did.
GH pages is fine. Sorry?
Basically what I did.
No, the opposite of what you did.
Oh, okay.
And I was about to warn about that. So, so here's the deal. GH pages is your production branch. You don't want to be making commits directly on it. You want to be pulling in code from other branches. You want to be working on master.
Yeah, primarily.
Right. So what happens is that in the normal course of operations, master is going to get ahead of GH pages as you write new stuff. So here's a graphical example of that.
You want me to, I can go ahead and stop sharing, right?
Yeah, you can stop sharing.
Okay.
All right. But everyone take a look at my, my screen for a minute. So if this is your project, right, and this is master, and then you create a new branch called GH Pages, they're both pointing to the same commit. Yes? So they're totally identical. Okay, but then you do some more work on master. Now master is ahead of GH Pages. How can you deal with that? Well, it's actually really easy. All you need to do is check out GH Pages and merge from master. In other words, GH-pages. When you merge, you always merge towards your location. So if you're on the GitHub Pages branch and you merge from master, you're creating a new commit on GH Pages that incorporates all of your changes on master. So what that means is that you can tinker around with master as much as you like, make edits, make changes, and even if you accidentally break things, it's not the end of the world, because GH Pages is still pristine. It still has only working production code. And when you get master to a point where it's ready to incorporate new stuff in the production version, where everything is working and everything is going okay, at that point, you can merge in your code from master to GH Pages. And you won't even hit a merge conflict, because by keeping master always ahead, at least equal with and usually ahead of GH Pages, they never disagree. So you shouldn't even hit a merge conflict. However, if you have commits that were made directly on GH Pages, then in that case, you might have a merge conflict. Because in that case, GH Pages might be both behind and ahead of master, right? There would be unique commits on either branch. And in that kind of a case, if you try to merge master into GH Pages, you might hit a conflict. Now, that's not the end of the world. Conflicts can be resolved. But generally speaking, you want to try to avoid them. And the easiest way to do that is to just never write code directly onto your GH Pages branch. When you get stronger with Git, there are other things that you can do that will make this process simpler. But the easiest thing for you to do right now is just to never write code directly onto your GH Pages branch. Only merge to it from master.
You should make that a headline. That's like the #1 piece of advice.
Yeah.
Hey, Matt.
Yep.
So say everything went as planned, but only for some reason the CSS is showing up on the hosted branch I just created. So like I go to settings, I click on the green link that shows GH Pages, and only the CSS is showing up. Like my background and anything else is not on here. It's the weirdest thing.
You know, it's hard to say just based on that description. Can you show me what it looks like?
Absolutely. So this is the hosted, and it's supposed to look like that. So it's not a So let me go to, where is it at?
Okay. If you inspect it, Sean. Failed to load resource. Server responded with 404. I think you probably have a bad link in your HTML, which is why when you pushed it, it didn't work.
Oh, so it's just not reading the background image, I guess. Is the only thing.
It can't find the background image based on the link that you gave. Okay, so let's give an example. I want to actually demonstrate updating your GH Pages branch by updating master. So if everybody could take a look at my screen for a minute. So I'm going to check out my master branch. So now I'm on master, and I'm going to write some more code here. Specifically, I want to rename homework solution.js and main solution.js to just be homework.js and main.css. So in order to do that, I need to rename the files, and I also need to update the links in index.html. So I'm going to do those two things. I'm going to git move homework solution.js to homework.js, and that's going to rename homework. And then I'm going to do the same with the solution, with the CSS file rather. So that's going to rename both of those two files. And the last thing I need to do is I need to update index.html. So I'm going to do this in Vim just because I don't want to have to open up Atom just for this. So you can see here this says homework solution.js. So I need to update that to just say homework.js. And in the style sheet, it says main solution.css. So I want to update that so it just says main.css. Okay. Okay, so it says, if I ask Git what the new changes are, it renamed two files. And I also modified the content of index.html. Cool. Before I commit this, I'm going to just check and make sure that everything is working. All right, it looks like the CSS loaded correctly. And if I interact with it, okay, it looks like it's loading the JavaScript too. So I didn't break anything. My code is still working, but I've made this update, this revision. I'm going to make a commit with this change on the master branch. Okay, so there's my commit message. Cool. If I were to push this, up to master, now the master branch has the updates. It's called homework.js and main.css. But GH Pages hasn't been updated yet. Our master branch incorporates new code. So how can we fix this? Well, the answer is that I can merge in the new changes from master and put them on the GH Pages branch. So if I do this, if I check out GH Pages, and I say git merge master, now I didn't hit any merge conflicts because I shouldn't. Master is purely ahead of GH Pages, so there's no disagreement. So I've made some modifications now onto GH Pages. I do git log. It even incorporates the commit because it's a pure fast forward. So now if I push this branch up to GitHub, if I go over to GH Pages, now GH Pages also has the updated names. So let me kind of summarize all of that. Don't make commits directly on GH Pages. Only work on master. When you're satisfied with the code on master and you're sure that it's working and good, check out GH Pages and merge in your code from master. So git checkout GH Pages, git merge master. And I'll write those in here.
And then we do git push origin master, right?
Origin GH Pages.
Oh, okay.
Update your remote GH Pages branch.
Okay, cool.
So that all makes sense. Back to my other question. So if it's not reading the image file in the image directory,
You probably have a bad link. You may have used an absolute path when you should have used a relative path or something like that.
so if it was a picture that I had downloaded onto my computer, it needs to be hosted from somewhere?
Yeah, well, right, because the GitHub.com doesn't know anything about your computer, where it lives, or what its layout is. So if you're linking to something using its absolute path on your computer, GitHub Pages is not going to be able to access those files. It would need to either include it in the repo, or what would be a better idea is host it on some sort of a platform like Imager.
Gotcha.
So, but you'll need to update those links because that's why it's not loading.
Thank you, sir.
Yep, and again, updates should happen on the master branch in this specific case. The more generalized term for these two branches, this whole approach that we're talking about is called having a production branch, which is your live, like official, fully working version of your code, and what's called an integration branch. An integration branch is a place where you add new code. Maybe you have specific smaller branches for individual features, and you integrate them back together to make sure that you have a working kind of app as a whole. So that's where that work happens. It's also frequently called the development branch. And then when that's all working and good, you integrate those changes into the production branch. So at a high level, this is a workflow that you might see in the workplace. Okay, so that's the right way. Now let's talk about what happens when crap hits the fan. What happens if you do like as we did, and oh crap, you know, there's all sorts of stuff on GH Pages that we committed to directly and everything's bad and horrible. Is master still okay? It should be. Your master version should, you know, incorporate all of your good code for the most part. If it is, there's a nice new thing that you can do with GH Pages, or with GitHub Pages rather. If you come down to the GitHub Pages thing within settings, you see where it says source? It says your GitHub Pages site is currently being built from the GH Pages branch. Now this used to be the default. You had to have a branch named GH Pages and in order for GitHub Pages to actually know what to load. But now you can actually choose. And so if for whatever reason your GH Pages branch gets borked, you can actually build your GH Pages site directly from master. Now, that's cool. In a pinch, it'll save your butt. But it doesn't include that sort of whole separation idea of how you have one place that's still like in development and one place that's finished and polished. So I would say, think about this as a last ditch sort of thing. If for whatever reason you can't get the workflow going with GH Pages, but you have a working master branch, just change the source to be your master branch. But it's a nice thing that GitHub Pages offers. You don't have to call it GH Pages anymore. You can call it anything you want. You could call it production. Doesn't really matter. GitHub is now more flexible than it used to be. Okay. Can anyone walk me through the workflow again? As you're working on your site, let's say that you already have a master branch and a GH Pages branch. Where do you do work?
Master branch.
Master branch, okay. And what happens when you've done a whole bunch of work on master branch and you want to carry it over to GH Pages branch? What do you do?
Check out GH.
Mm-hmm. And then?
Push to origin GH Pages.
Missing a step.
Commit.
No. You want to, when you check out GH Pages, you're changing your location, but you're missing the step of integrating your new code. How do you integrate your new code into the GH Pages branch?
Get checkout.
Anyone else?
You need to check out to the master, do your changes, and then go back to the pages and push it from there.
Assuming that you have your changes already on master, you want to integrate those changes into, yes, that's right, JJ. You want to integrate those changes into GH pages. So that means you have to merge the code on master into the GH pages branch and create a merge commit. So the easiest way to do that is git checkout GH pages, git merge master. And that will create a new merge commit incorporating all of your new work on the master branch into your GH pages branch. Great. But this is also all happening locally. So once you've done that, you still need to push your GH pages branch, your newly updated GH pages branch, to GitHub in order for the changes to be reflected in the site. Would anyone like me to walk through that again? Happy to.
Could I just repeat it back to you?
Please.
Okay. So you do git checkout GH pages, and then git merge master.
Yep.
Git push origin GH pages, and then do you do?
That's it. You've done it.
Okay. But then if you are going back to your master branch, you just do git checkout master. And that's where you do all your commits.
And that's where you do all your commits, do all your work. That's it exactly. Anyone else want to try running through it? Where to do your work?
In the master branch.
Yeah, or put differently, not on GH pages, not directly.
Yes.
You don't have to, strictly speaking, do it all on the master branch. You can have feature branches that you're doing work on and then merge those feature branches into master. But whatever happens, your production branch should always remain clean. You should never have work in progress code on your production branch because that's what people see. That's your officially working version of your stuff. So never include your work in progress code on that. You should always be building it someplace else, making sure that it works, and then merging it into your production branch. All right, so why do you think that is? Why is it a bad idea to make commits directly on production? Even putting aside the idea of merge conflicts from master, why is it a bad idea maybe to make commits directly on our production branch?
You don't want to have code that is like, it's not ready yet.
Yeah, maybe you have a feature that's not complete. Maybe it's not necessarily broken, but like it's expecting something else to be finished and that other thing isn't finished yet. That's a good reason. But drawing a distinction between what's still in development and production is part of your workflow working with Git. And it's part of how you manage the work that you're doing. Cool. Okay, who here thinks that they can get a site up on GitHub Pages on their own? If the answer to that question is I can't do it, or I don't think I can do it, what part is confusing you? Or let me rephrase that. How far do you think you can get in the process before you get confused?
Basically just replicate what we just did with you, right?
Yeah, that's it. You walk through that whole process again. You write code on master, check out GH pages, merge master into GH pages, push GH pages, go back to master, start again.
I think the merging is confusing.
Okay.
The merging seems to be a little issue here.
Merging is the process of taking the collection of changes that exist and combining them, smushing them down into a new commit, if necessary, on the new branch. You can think of it as taking all of the code, the new code on master, and putting it on the GH pages branch.
And you do that prior to checkout GH pages?
It depends. So the answer to your question, Zach, is that there's more than one way to write a merge command. The simplest way to write a merge command is just git merge branch, which takes whatever branch you name and merges it into your current location. So if you want to do that, then you need to actually check out the branch that you want to merge into, which is in this case, GH pages. There are, however, other ways you can write a git merge command where it doesn't actually matter your location, and you can just specify, I want to merge from this branch into this branch. But I'll tell you the truth, I frequently forget the order in which those branches go, and if you merge in the wrong direction, you can mess things up. So rather than take on that additional cognitive load, I just always do it in a two-step approach. Because I don't want to accidentally merge in the wrong direction because I forgot a thing. And I know it's going to happen because I mess stuff up all the time. And given the choice, I'd rather just try and avoid the thing that I know I'm going to mess up and do it another way that I know works.
Yeah, so I was able to, I hosted the picture, then I did it all in the master. Then I added, committed, pushed that, then checked out the GH pages. I then merged the master to that. Then I added, committed, and pushed GH pages. And now it's good. It's good to go.
That's great.
Your project looks snazzy, Sean.
Man, today has been like one of those days that you wait for after like 7 days of just like wanting to drink some bleach. And today was like one of those days where I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna have water today. It's a good day. I'm starting to get it.
Better than bleach.
Slightly.
Okay. It's very intense, Sean.
Yeah, but so is this program. I'm tired.
I know. Okay, can I get a quick fist of 5 on working with GitHub Pages? I think I really have this. I'm completely lost. All right, so Brad, I think that you have still some more questions.
I think the workflow, I understand. You went over that quite a bit. Just getting set up, I got lost around copying my files and got hung up somewhere. And
the setup doesn't matter. The point of the setup
the branching part
is to give you a repo that you could work with, a repo that has index.html at the root. That's all that was for, to give us a repo that we could work around with. Your repo should already have that when you're ready to deploy it.
Gotcha.
So all you'll need to do in that situation is just create a GH Pages branch and push it. And then you can go through the workflow that I've been talking about.
Okay, I think the creating a branch and pushing it part I kind of missed out on.
Okay, so to create a branch and check it out at the same time is git checkout-b and then the name of the branch. Or if you don't remember that, you can do git branch and then the name of your branch and then git checkout and check out that new branch. So I'll write that out.
I do have a question when you're done with Brad as well. Why is it important that it's index.html and it can't be like index-something.html?
Because they say so.
Fair enough. All right.
That's literally all it is. There's no fundamental reason why it couldn't be something else, but that's the file that they look for. They look for a file called index.html. I guess you could make the argument that if they said you could name it whatever you wanted, they wouldn't know which HTML file you wanted to be at the root. So if they standardize that, they can ensure that that's always the page that gets loaded. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes more sense. I was thinking about it in terms of like
their shoes. That's what I would do.
Yeah, I was thinking about it in terms of like text editors where it's like as long as the file's in HTML, it reads it as a HTML file and stuff like that. But
it's not a question of it being able to read the file. It's a question of GitHub Pages knowing which one to host.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So Brad, to your question, if you're working on master and you've got your code going on master, to create and check out this new GH Pages branch, you could just write git checkout -b GH Pages. And that will check out, or that will create a new branch called GH Pages and also move you to it in a single command. And then from there, you can push it up to GitHub.
Okay, we say on the master. I mean inside the
When
directory.
I say, I'm saying if you're on the master branch of the repo, then you can run that command to create a new branch and to move to it. And then once you have that new branch, you can push it up to GitHub by writing git push origin GH Pages.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's a step I was missing. Thank you.
Cool. All right, that's all I have for y'all. So I'm gonna stop the recording.